Today we're gonna learn how to paint gold. So this is my golden elephant. So far it's looking great. Yeah, let me show you how I'm doing gold. I have the rest of the head unfinished. I'm using polychromos for this. 101, 102, 107, 188 and 199. The secret of non-metallic metal is contrast. So you really have to push your contrast very much so it will look credible as gold in terms of where the reflection is gonna be placed. Oh, and one more thing. You see all these black lines are so pale comparing to this page, for example, and this is because I used acrylic paint, specifically this one, Tair Acrylic Studio acrylic paint. It gives very sandpaper-like texture to your pages, so it's really useful if you have low quality paper, and polychromos works amazingly on these acrylics, but I have a feeling that it wears pencil a lot more than the regular paper does, and also the process of coloring itself is not so pleasant. The feeling and the noises are slightly different than on the paper. So would I recommend it? Yes, if you're trying to hide the black lines and if you're trying to achieve realistic look. But would I do this for all of the pages? Definitely no. I really like color on paper and not on this like very fine sandpaper. So let me proceed to coloring. Creativity ultimately is about bravery to try new stuff. Everything you will try for the first time. And this is what being creative is. Connecting different pieces of information you already have in some new and interesting way. Or in terms of coloring books, it could be connecting different mediums or techniques in a combination you never thought about before. So I finished the head. Some elements I couldn't figure out whether I want them to be very shaded or just a little bit like these things. So we have light part there. It's kind of telling that it's the highest point of the object. So it reflecting the light the most. So we have light source from there and it's making this path on the face of the elephant. I like the eye, I like the second eye, I like that they are very different. So this is kind of angry and evil part, and this part is kind of cute and innocent. And I like the contrast between these two parts. You see that I already did some gears using a slightly different color combination. So you can see that the metal around the eye is a bit different than this one because I used this different color combination, and these gears are a bit different, and these, oh my gosh, I don't know how to call it, these metal worms. Let me use these words. So I used different color combination for them as well. So let me show you what I mean by color combination. So this one is used for body, this one is used for these worms, and this one is used for gears. So you can see that in the body we have this orange mid-tone, and there is no orange mid-tone there. And in these worms I'm using more dark colors in general. So they are a bit tuned down, a bit darker. So here you can see the numbers for polychromos for each of these color combination. It's not my invention or something. I used the one that I found on Pinterest. I will leave link in the description. A very useful chart, and there is a lot of color combos for polychromos. So if you have a polychromos, that will work beautifully for you. Okay, so let me just proceed. As you can see, I'm constantly switching between pencils and different elements. This is because I'm trying to catch this perfect shading to see how elements are working together, how colors are working together, and trying to go deeper in places that needs to be deeper shaded, and trying to stay as light as I possibly can on my bright highlights. One simple advice I can give to you all is try not to burnish your page from the day one, because you might need these extra tools later. When you are finishing the whole element, or for example a section of a page, or maybe even the whole page, you could spot some places where you will need this extra shading, when you will need these extra tools to hold your pigment. So don't be in a hurry. Try to work it through slowly. While you are coloring the series of elements that look almost the same, you undoubtedly will get better when you are finishing the last element. So Learn through this journey. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to be better. You don't have to color every element exactly the same as the previous one. You can do a little of switching, a little of changing, and see what works best. So don't afraid to experiment, even on the same page. So there are pages where you can learn. You might not pick your best color books for it, for example, but you still have to have some place where you can learn, because otherwise you will not get better. So learning and performing are a whole different stuff. When you are learning, you are actively trying to be better, and when you are performing, you are just showing what skill level you already have. So leave dearest coloring books for the last one and all the rest of them for the first one. This is the advice that I can give. But for me, I don't separate my coloring books at all. I'm trying not to be scared to ruin the page or to try something new on the page, even if I don't know whether it will work or not, because this is the thing that will make your creativity bloom. Okay, I finished one ear. If you was wondering how long does it take to color on this level, well, it took me about, I don't know, 10 days already, and I'm not finished yet. So if something is taking you too long, you are not the problem. You're not the problem. The number of details on the page really corresponds to the amount of time you need to finish it. I will not set my expectations too high and just work it through. As you can see, there is maybe a bit less shading in these places that it should be, because I went very dark with the ears and I have to compensate there. And this is the interesting stuff when you're working on shading and contrast. When you finished one part, you can actually see how much contrast the other part have, and you can fix your mistakes, unless you already burnished your page and it can't take any more pigment. But even in this case, you can use black pencil over top, and in 99% cases it works fine. Or you can use stuff like acrylics, for example, to make shades deeper. And when you're working with metal, contrast is the most important thing you can have. It actually doesn't matter which colors you use or how great your gradients are. The only thing that truly matters is the contrast. So as you can see, I'm working on the contrast a lot on this page. And yeah, this is what I did for yesterday. And today I hope I will finally finish the ears. I can fix a little bit shading on the elephant itself and then move on to next page. trying to separate the main elephant in sections, so it would be easier for me to feel these milestones achieved. Like, okay, today I finished this one, and next I will finish this one, and so on and so forth. This way I will have these spikes of dopamine that will help me to finish this project eventually. Just be patient, try to explore this feeling. Maybe it's boredom, maybe it's annoyance, but you don't have to react accordingly. You can just stick with this feeling for a while and see what will happen. Whether this feeling will disappear or it will come back stronger. But nevertheless, while you are doing it, you are coloring, so you are getting closer and closer to your final goal.